Alright guys, we are back for another Dokkan battle video. So, this is another thing we can cover and talk about right here. Some content at some point during the 11th anniversary. We're going to get a new, I guess it's just going to be a new stage to the Dokkan Ultimate Player's Choice battle right here. I remember this event was okay. It wasn't really anything super challenging, but I mean, what's interesting about it is that, again, we can design kind of like the parameters of the fight itself, which I think is actually pretty cool, right? That we could kind of set it ourselves, but it wasn't really like, you know, oh my god, the craziest difficulty ever. So you had to beat it, and then we had to beat it with all 5 super types or all 5 extreme types. But this was a mission we were able to vote on. So what we could take a look at is the choices, like the results. What's interesting about this, it does show us all the results, but it looks like the event is actually going to be slightly different on Global and JP. So, all right, we can talk about this here. So the results of the player survey have been revealed. Don't miss out on the chosen event content. Okay, so let's see. So the following option received the most votes in the Japanese version. Super long battles. 7 phases. I think a lot of people in our community saw that and like they had like festival battles flashbacks and they said, no, we cannot do that. Following option received the most votes in the international version. Now, before I get into this, I would definitely say that for the most dedicated players to the game, right? So like someone like me or like a lot of the, you know, the Twitter heads that I complain about all day, every day. I feel like the short battles end up being the most engaging, right? Like the short or medium length. Those can be some of the most fun because I feel like it's just usually set up in a way. They're usually the most toxic, the most frustrating, but I can at least speak to my experience that it does feel good to lose in like a 1-phase fight and hop back in, as opposed to, I mean, let's not use festival battles as an example, but, you know, festival losing on turn 70 3 hours in. Let's just use, like, you know, like one of the red zones where, you know, maybe we're on like turn 7 or turn 6 and we're 20 minutes into the run and then we lose off of bullshit. That doesn't feel good at all. So I do think the most dedicated players probably is kind of shorter, but I think like more casual players certainly are probably likely to get like a 5 or 7, because the way you could look at it is you'd be able to use like all your characters and use all your characters' abilities, right? Like we could just instantly think of the 10th anniversary fusions, right? Maybe you want to use Super Gogeta, one of your favorites, but it's not until turn 4 where this character becomes even competent. And then of course you also on turn 5 could go into Super Gogeta where the character becomes elite, right? But if it's a 1-phase fight, you can't see that, and thus this overall whole character pretty much is unusable, because this Vegeta has just a lot of weaknesses that some of these big bosses could exploit, right? So, alright, let's see what we get right here. So, oh, look at the international first. They do not, most people did not vote for short fights. Option 3 with the most. Wow, looking for JP, it's balanced. It's just like even the whole way through. That's interesting. Okay. Question 2. What enemy mechanic should we add? So AoEs, boss crits, guaranteed hits, or multiple super attacks. I would say guaranteed hits is pretty oppressive, right? Because that takes a lot of characters. Dodge is a huge tool for them. AoEs also same thing. So many characters are getting so much defense when they attack. So those two, 1 and 3, are, you know, definitely a good example of kind of like some anti-fun type mechanics. It can make the fight very challenging, right? And really show like which characters are really super elite that could get around it, but it also makes a lot of the game unusable. And from what I've seen from people, they hate that shit. When it's just like, all right, well, the fight dropped and 90% of the game just completely worthless. Literally can't even be used at all. Boss crits are really scary. And then multiple super attacks, yeah, it makes sense that that's there. So let's see. So for Japanese, Oh, the Japanese did not like boss crits. Yeah, you guys know I always say like boss crits are not to be fucked with. You have to respect boss crit attacks. They've by a landslide multiple super attacks won. Wow, guaranteed hits as option 3. Okay. And then here, yeah, no, dude, oh my god. They all voted for multiple super attacks. That's crazy, yeah. Because number 1 and 3, those are the ones I think you would not want to see. Because those just directly close out a lot of the game from being relevant there. Okay. Question 3 is what conditions should we add to the missions? Clear the event in a certain number of turns. I'm not the fan of that. Biggest fan of that. Clear the event with characters 5 types is fine. Clear the event with a category is fine. And then missions that feature a mix of conditions. So let's see. So, the JP players did not like speed or the mix, category, or like class typing, like one that has all 5 types. And then for global, it's pretty much just the last 2. Yeah, people didn't like the speed. Yeah, dude. Yeah, fuck speed. I am not a speed runner. I like to go slow and deliberate and take my time. I'm a turn-based RPG player, right? I'm not a speed runner. So, yeah, that's fine. I would be fine with either 2 or 3, right? The category missions are fun. Category missions ends up kind of being a lot of the major content in the game these days, right? Where it's like, you're kind of like, using these categories, Boo Saga against Gohan, Goten, and Trunks, Dragon Ball Seekers against Tamagami 1, Great Ape Power against Red Zone Broly. Those are kind of like the big ones that are going on kind of like at the moment, right? So, all right. So based on the results of the Japanese version, international version, following stages will be available. So literally the only difference is on JP, it's going to be a 7-phase fight. And on global, it's going to be a 5-phase fight. I wonder, what should we expect here? So Challenge Event Dokkan Ultimate Player Choice schedule will become available during the 11th anniversary celebration. I guess maybe this is just going to be it could be a mix of like Daima Goku and Daima Vegeta. Right? Like, if it's a 5-phase fight, maybe it's just like, let's go in reverse. So, like, Adult Super Saiyan 4, Adult Super Saiyan 3 Vegeta, Mini Super Saiyan 4, Mini Super Saiyan 3, and then maybe a phase against both, like, base Daima Goku and Vegeta or something. And then for the 7 phase, it's like, because they could do base, Super Saiyan 3, Super Saiyan 4, Super Saiyan 3, Super Saiyan 4. So, like, they Daima, Goku, and Vegeta, probably what we could expect to see for these. Multiple super attacks really doesn't feel scary, unless you're using, like, a really ineffective character, or the boss damage is really nuts. And then they're going to want us to beat it with 6 characters of a specific category. Keep in mind that brand new category introduced into the game, Daima. Maybe the Daima category is what they'll want us to use. We'll use Daima characters. It's very possible. Very, very possible that we could see that, right? So there's that. Yep, schedule will be available during the 11th anniversary. Bam. And then there we go. And then there's, we got a survey and stuff like that. So looking at the fight, I mean, Goku is at 4.9 million, but then he gets 50%. So is that what, like 5.6 million? And then on his 3rd turn, he gets a 100% attack buff, right? So, pushing him to scary levels of damage. But, like, that's so deep in the fight at that point, right? So we'll see, huh? We'll see how challenging it could be. I had also pulled these characters up, because previously there was kind of like global versus JP events. These typically happened during the worldwide download celebration, which is now the GDC, right? So back in 2017, there was like a competition between global and JP. I believe the winner got Vegeta and the loser got Yamcha. Then this was the next year, the 2018 worldwide, the Transforming Goku and Frieza one. I believe in this one, Goku was the winner and the loser got Frieza. I believe Global got the Goku, the winner, and JP, I believe, got the Frieza. Then there was Cell and Hercule or Mr. Satan. I believe Cell was for the winner, and I believe Mr. Satan was for the losing team. I think JP got Cell and Global got the Hercule, I think. And then I believe the final time... Oh, no, wow, you know what? You know who I missed? I missed Goku and Vegeta. Of course. How could I forget? The rock, paper, scissors, Goku and Vegeta. I don't see him. He's not here yet. He's going to be on this page. There he is. Yeah, the Goku that wins, and then the Vegeta that loses. The Vegeta is a little bit of a big deal, just because this is not like a heavily named character right here. This Vegeta. Super Saiyan Vegeta Angel. Like, let's just look at this. This is like a very not competitive name. Yeah, look, it's just these two. That's it. Very uncompetitive name for that character. So that could certainly be like a good banner unit or something moving forward. Dropping just like a version of this guy, and then this was just a Super Saiyan Goku. This, you know, when they did rock, paper, scissors to fight Kid Buu. I love that. That shit is, that's fun. That's fun. But yeah, and then eventually they stopped doing this with these characters, right? That would do this, but they did make both, you know, versions of them always available for each version, so it wasn't really a big deal. So, all right. Let me know what you guys think. We'll have this difficult event dropping at some point during the 11th anniversary. Probably, I would guess, going to be heavily based around the Daima stuff, but we'll see what happens.